You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Greetings everyone. Good evening to all of you. Today is another beautiful day on the Pan-African Daily TV. I can already see you guys have been waiting for this wonderful topic with our peace ambassador from the Horn of Africa. So Ambassador Tony Jaja is with us today this evening, and we want to treat the topic, the BRICS Alliance. And so, we've been talking about the Sahel Alliance. Most people know now what the Sahel Alliance is all about. And today we want to learn more about the BRICS Alliance and the impact of this alliance to the African continent or to partners of Africa in general. So we also want to know, some people were asking, what is BRICS? Like, a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people don't even know that this alliance or this organization is existing. So a lot of people are like, what is BRICS? What is BRICS about? Who are the member countries? And we also seen that, in the beginning, or when was it launched, 2016 or 2019 or whatever, or 2006. So a lot of people still don't know about these alliances and what actually is the role of Africa. And recently, we heard about they launching their new currency after the summit in Russia, I think. They launched their new currency. We also got to know that, Ethiopia, which was literally not a member, is now a member. And so other countries, or what other African countries would be joining. And so today is a very important topic when we talk about geopolitics, when we talk about the political education that the Africans should understand, because in this century, we don't want any African youth or African person to say, I don't know how these global systems work, or I've never heard about this. Like, sometimes even when they talk about, African countries owing the global world system, having debts or borrowing from the IMF, or they talk about the ICC, International Criminal Court. And, these are all topics that Africans, to them, was new. They never were involved in global geopolitics. They never knew all these topics. But now, with since the launching of Pan-African Daily, and also the technological support of the social media, Africans are beginning to learn a lot. And we're thinking that we're catching on topics that are really relevant to us, and that are actual, that are hot and trendy. But of course, we want to give the political education of the African, because I think a youth wrote on our comment section last time saying the African child must know about the political, must get political education. And I think Dr. Ambassador has been really focused on these questions, on the global or the issues like the Security Council, the peace treaties, just like in his position as a peace ambassador of the Horn of Africa. I think he knows how all these negotiations go on, which boards and which alliances. So today, I really welcome all of you that are joining. Please share and invite one another, because this is a very important topic, and the impact and the role of this BRICS Alliance and the partners, whether they are for Africa or they not for Africa. But now, for the first time, like what we hear, Africans are beginning to have a kind of a partnership where they can talk on equal terms, where they can decide policies for themselves, where they can decide about the security of their nations and how they share resources and what kind of currency that would be compatible to all the countries or the member countries that are engaged in it. And so I think it's a really hype time that we're going through. So let me get back to the studio, and I think all of you, most of you are already here. The others will be joining. Continue to invite one another. Share the live with your family members to join us, because when Ambassador Tony Jaja takes his time to educate us about this thing, one thing I want to tell you about our guest. First, Dr. Ambassador Tony Jaja is a founding member of the Pan African Daily TV. That's the first thing we have to understand. So it's not just like a guest that comes and goes, but the Pan African Daily, when we put, like we're putting actually the book of Pan African Daily, the first founding members of it, Ambassador Tony Jaja is on that list of the founding members. It means people that actually open up this platform for conversations and bringing information that concerns the Africa since the beginning of that 2020. So Professor Dr. Ambassador Tony Jaja is not just a guest of opinion or just sharing or educating. He's a founding member. He's a staunch voice in the Pan-African movement of this 21st century. He's for the Build One African Nation. We know it. He's been negotiating, talking to leaders on the continent, attending board meetings. I mean, trying to really say we have to launch this Pan-African movement and a Congress sometime very soon. So please welcome with me here his ambassador, and please welcome to us again our brother, our excellency, our peace ambassador, our advisor, and our consultant. Good evening to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening to you, Susan Tata. Thank you a lot for bringing me once again on the Pan Africa Daily TV, and I greet all the audience. I think some of them are now afternoon, and some of them is morning, and some of them is evening, and the night.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, audience, for joining us here for Pan Africa Daily TV. As we are going to share about the BRICS and then the Sahel Alliance. So let us just start with the BRICS, because this is what is now is making global attention nowadays, especially on the 24th after the end of the summit, when Putin's revealed the BRIC currency. So it's now being taken around the globe, and people are debating and people are talking. And I know some of our African fellows, they don't have some understanding about the BRICS. The history of BRICS started in 2006, September. That was during the UN Assembly Summit.
Mm-hmm.
And when the four countries were debating about the crises that are happening, especially in the financial crisis that have been happening and the financial system that is not fair. And they have been talking about they should reform the financial system.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the four ministerial foreign affairs of Brazil and Russia and China and there were four of them.
Indian.
They used to call BRIC before BRICS, because that time South Africa was not part of it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they held the first summit where they declared the BRIC summit in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2010, this is where South Africa was joining them. They become 5 countries who are the founding of the BRICS. And the BRICS was found for a new alternative financial system, global financial system. That was the meaning of it. Just to ease the way of the trade and the financial exchange. The dominant used to be a dollar, but they have to have a way. It took time for them, exactly. It took time for them to reach this level now they are in, and then to educate other nations, because anything that happened when you establish a new organizations, it is not everybody who can just join you. You have to start somewhere, like any other organizations. But the good things, they kept put things, and they have worked a lot. They have taken time, they have educated themselves, and they have put system which is now going to operate to ease a trade among the nations. So it has been put on the threat because of the Western world, the IMF and the World Bank. And you know, the IMF and the World Bank, always these are the wolf of the finance in the global arena. And they don't want any other competitions that to come from them. The good thing that because it's like China and Russia and Brazil and South Africa and India, who have now representing even the 40% of population of the world, 40% population of the world, the BRICS countries.
40%?
So 40% of population, 40% of population.
Okay.
And they are representing 26.6 trillion GDP. It's not something small. It's not something small.
I think 60. I saw something like that.
Yeah.
The total GDP plus Ethiopia now joining.
Now that was the BRICS. I'm talking about the foundations, the founders.
Okay.
So the others, they just joined last year, and then the others now are on the pipeline coming in. So they will take over. They will take over because they have introduced in this last summit, they have introduced the financial system, and is going to be adopted by 159 countries. They confirm 159 countries out of 193 countries.
Okay.
So that is a big blow now, because BRICS is going to have a way where you can trade with your local currency. It will not demand you to say, okay, you have to buy the BRICS so that you can use the BRICS like the way, if you don't have a dollar, there's no way you can go and buy from China or buy from other places. Now, Russia and China, they have now exchanged, they use their local currency, the rubles and yuan, and they are trading. The same thing, China and India, they are trading with the local currency. So the only thing that is going to be used for this new currency, BRICS new currency, is for the international market. So it's not going to replace your own currency. Your currency is going to be strong based on your economic input. So this is what is going to happen. So people don't understand now. So we have some African countries who have joined now. We have Algeria is one. We have South Africa is there. Yeah, we have Egypt. We have Ethiopia. And now we have Uganda from East Africa. These are the 13 countries that has been confirmed that to be alliance or partners from now until the process is finished, so that they can be part of the BRICS. So BRICS now, the full members of BRICS now are 9 countries now. So you have Brazil, you have China, you have India, you have South Africa, and then you have Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and United Emirates. So these are the 9 countries now. And the other 13 countries, they are now partners that are going to be part of the BRICS very soon. So this is the alternative for the new financial system in the world. But the Western world, they have put a lot of things during the war between Russia and Ukraine. They thought they will do the isolation for Russia to be far away from the financial system. But I think that they have calculated wrong, especially the American. They just got shocked. The Western got shocked when they saw 25 head of state who have attended the BRICS, plus 30 other delegations who have attended the BRICS. So Russia is not isolated. He's now gaining with China, with India, with Brazil, with South Africa and others. And it become a new era, new platform, new global, let me say, new global council, which is now being recognized even by the United Nations. Antonio Guterres was there. And this is the platform where people have to negotiate. It's not like a dominant of dollars anymore. Dollar now is in the bricks of collapse. People are talking about it. Yes, but they are threatening people. They said any country who is going to cancel or to stop trading with the dollars, they are going to punish them. They are going, even for China to trade with America, they say they will raise the tariff to 100% or 200%. But the world is totally changed now. We are in a different global new financial system that has been put into place. 2025, by January 2025, the system will work effectively for those who are going to use the new BRICS system. That is called the World Bank BRICS. And you have World Bank and IMF who have damaged the whole world, who have damaged a lot of countries with sanctioning them, with giving loans with a high interest. So this one is going to be different with the BRICS. So people has now to understand that there is a new system where you can find your way. Yes, the question can come. Where is Africa here? We are joining them, but where is Africa here in this place? Yes, it's a new system. It will allow us to trade among ourselves, or we can use our platform like the Intercontinental Free Trade, as President Ramaphosa said, that Africa is a potential that can add the value to the global market. Yes, that is it. But at the end, we have to ask ourselves, where is our system? Because if we are going to use BRICS as a currency, so BRICS is not an African currency. It's a new currency for the new World Bank, which is the BRICS Bank. So it's not the American dollars. It's not the World Bank we know before. It's not the IMF, the monetary fund we know before. But this is going to be a different financial system. But Africa has to come up with something that we have been talking about, uniting Africa. We have to have our own currency. We have to have Afro, as we have said before, Afro currency, like the way the European Union are using the euro in Europe. So the same way, because we have to have a currency where we can have the exchange of it, then using our own local currencies, because we can back up, as now they are backing up the BRICS with the reserve of gold. We have the resources that we can do that. The same, the way now the alliance, the Sahel Alliance, the Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali, who have now established themselves because of the threat that they got from the ECOWAS, and that is why they established themselves, because ECOWAS was being influenced by the France and the Western world, and they don't want the dominant of the Western world to be behind the ECOWAS, or to be behind to drive the ECOWAS financial system or economic system. That is why they are now independent, and they are going to create their own currency. Now they own their own sovereignty, their own resources. These are the only countries who have chased away the Western multi-billion companies who used to control the resources in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and in Niger. But now they are free. They are now building their system, their financial system. Even they are going to introduce their own new currency. So others are going to join, like Guinea Conakry is going to join now, and others now are on the pipeline to join. Even Senegal is going to join them. So people are gradually disconnecting themselves with this Western dominance, financially dominant, or this power or the policies. This is the only way we have to be independent. The real independence is that we are looking for is this, to own your own sovereignty. When you own your own sovereignty, you put your own policies, you put your own financial system. This is how these nations now are going. And I have seen how now the growth in and the business is going on in Burkina Faso. Infrastructure is going on. They have even established their banks now. And everybody now is part of building the nation, because it's not being driven by the Western world. And this is what we are looking for. This is what we have been looking for nations.
Oh, okay. Whew. Thing he's having some challenges, but it's just in time, because I was about to bring.
So it's totally different.
Okay, thank you,
Susan Tata. It's totally different.
Okay. Thank you so very much. Your friend is joining you, King Maponga Joshua, whom you guys are meeting also. I mean, he just showed this, so we saw the show and like, hey, this is a very great topic which we need to actually talk on. And he actually is like playing the role of, moderating the conversation in such a way that there are questions that we have to take from both parts to be able to sensitize ourselves here. But let me just show this currency for those that have never seen it. This is how it looks like. I'll still show it when King Maponga comes here. This is how it looks like, and you can see the flags. I think this was the former one of the the member states, or you see Zimbabwe, you see the nations that are on it, somewhat, not all, but Republic of Argentina, Ecuador, I don't know, but this is how apparently what I saw on the net when I asked for it. So I think this is it. And then we also see that they're coming up. They already had this BRIC coins. By then, we didn't have the other nations in the beginning. So it's like something that was already, they had already prepared for this system. Dr. Tony, let me bring in King Maponga, your very good friend. I saw you people in Uganda, both of you, and that was so interesting. I love the picture. King, you are here, and please, I would love you to assist us on this conversation, because I mean, the first person, and I'm saying it on the Pan African Daily today, the first person that gave me King Maponga Joshua's number in 2020 was Ambassador Tony Jaja. He was the one that actually, so these friends, like you see here, they've started this journey for so long. If we are happy to have King Maponga Joshua with us, who is also a founding member of Pan African Daily, is because of His Excellency Ambassador Tony Jaja, who actually, like, you have to bring this guy on Pan African Daily. And he did everything, and he sent me the number, and automatically when I reach out, King Maponga is always a very cool guy, and he's like, how did you get my number, madam? I said, from Ambassador Tony Jaja. And he said, okay, and then I'll be on your show. You see, that kind of brotherliness, confidentials, and stuff like that is not something that started today. It's something that actually started in 2020, and both have been on this particular agendas. If Ambassador Tony Jaja is not talking from that end, King Maponga Joshua is talking, or they meet in conferences and meetings. And so, my king, you're welcome here.
My sincere greetings and all protocols observed to my Honorable Ambassador Jaja, a good friend and comrade in the struggle. We are in different spaces and places, but our hearts and minds are in the same space. I would want to start off by saying the conversation for African economic reformation, you are in safe hands with Ambassador Jaja. He has a wide experience on the African Union, on the United Nations, and peace talks around the continent and way beyond. And his personal experience, I think it deserves, on another show, we may want just to give the man flowers when he's still alive. And he has the right to speak. If I can be very candid to all your listeners, Ambassador Jaja has a right to speak, and whatever he speaks is not thumb sucking and dreaming. He is speaking from a wealth of experience and personal testimony. My 2 cents contribution is his show, by the way. I'm just here to add fuel to the fire. To the fire that is already burning. So don't rely on me. I'm just here to raise my hands and say, "Aluta continua." I tend to wonder when Africa gets excited around 4 other people. That is Brazil, China, India, and Russia. And Africa will never, for the life of me, be able to host such a meeting, 55 countries by themselves, to come up with an Afri currency. Call it Alkebulan, call it Afri dollar, call it African pound, call it, I don't care what you call it. But you can't tell me that the only time they can speak sense and contribute their resources is when a white man is standing inside them and amongst them. This time around, it's a white man, it's a colored man in Brazil, and an Indian man. Then the African finds, no, we all must join BRICS. We must join BRICS and make this thing work. We don't need BRICS, for crying out loud. Africa by herself can create her own bank. Africa by herself can create her own currency. Africa by herself can benchmark her resources and begin to become a meaningful player on uranium, which is powering the whole of Europe and America, on platinum, on lithium, which is fueling Elon Musk and all the electronics, on cobalt, which is fueling all the cell phone companies around the world, on oil, which is fueling the cars in Europe. I can go on for 82 minerals. I don't have to toil you with details. On coffee, you can name all of it. We don't need BRICS. BRICS needs us. If I can say that again, we don't need BRICS. BRICS needs Africa. Why? Because it gives them cheap resources, which can back up that currency. Vladimir Putin, brilliant strategist, together with the Indian leader, brilliant strategist, and the Chinese guy, Xi Jinping. They are doing well, but their interests are not in Africa. Their interests are on them playing on the international market and using Africa as a muscle to say, we have these countries under our armpit to manage the resources. We cannot buy and like a fish eat a worm and then we are pulled out of the water on a hook. This is small business as far as in my world. This is small business compared to the business that our African leaders, 55 of them, with their ministers of finance, 105 of them, can come together in one room and begin to map up a direction for the African Economic Forum that will have the banks, the insurances, the stock exchange, the currency, the passports, the military, the health, the education. We have been saying these things, Susan, for the longest of time. I don't have to bore you with details. But we don't need to meet outside of the continent to verify and vilify our existence as Africans. If we can't do that by ourselves, then we begin to sell each other to economic giants who are coming in with solutions. These are what I call temporal solutions to a long-term problem. The long-term problem is what will Africa do with herself? The short-term problem, how does Africa deal with the West that is using its finances to fuel their wars around the world? So I will not say much. I'll stop right there to say we are caught up with poor leadership that does not see the vision beyond 2050, 2060, and beyond. What will Africa be by ourselves without necessarily calling other people to come and assist us to have value for existence? I thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's exactly what Ambassador Jaja was saying. Like, that's why we first of all need to understand what is this alliance, and then move on to what he was also coming to say. But actually, the time is now about creating the Afro. Over to you, Ambassador Tony Jaja.
Yeah, as King Mafunga just said it now. You know, our problem always we follow people. That is the big problem we have. This is the only chance where the giants are fighting about. This is about the survival. It's not about changing things. It's about the survival now.
Mm-hmm.
But where are we in the map?
Yes.
This is the big question we should ask ourselves as Africans. Where are we in the map? 4 days ago, they have finished the renovation of the African Hall, the hall that was used during our four founding fathers of the African Union in 1963. It's become the heritage hall now, under which one, under the Economic Commission Africa of the United Nations in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, to remind us about what our founding fathers has done. The eco voice about the independency of the social economic independence they have been crying for, they have been talking about and giving chance. It's the same thing now. Like BRICS now, we have seen African countries that have joined BRICS. It's the same way when the establishment of United Nations. There were 4 countries in Africa. We were part of it. We had Ethiopia, we had Egypt, we had South Africa, and Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
But where are they after this 80 years? of functioning of the United Nations? What influence do they have? Now BRICS has come. The same countries now are become part of it. Ethiopia is there, South Africa is there, and Egypt is there. And others like Algeria have joined them. So it is about the geopolitical system that has been brainwashed our mind in the continent. We have been saying this is the time now for Africa to unite. You have seen now this issue of BRICS is going to be a fight with the Western world. And the victim is going to be Africa again. Why do I say that? Because the World Bank and the IMF are going to find a way to confuse the mind of some leaders to accept even giving them loans of billions of dollars for them to sustain themselves. And this is a big issue that is going to face us. The Sahel Alliance have been challenged by the Western world, especially the France and American. But they did not give up. They stood. This is the good example for other countries to say, no, we have to own our own resources. We have to take over our sovereignty. We have to establish our own program for ourselves. These are the people that we should appreciate them. They have stood in the face of the Western world and saying no for them. The rest should think, especially the regions, when we talk about ECOWAS, they are still in illusion, confusing a lot. Especially East Africa, the same. There is no a common economic agenda that they have. The same thing with the Northern Africa, the same thing with SADC. There is no the common economic agenda. And we are talking about intercontinental free trade to trade among ourselves. How do we do that without having our own system of trading, financial system for us to trade among ourselves? Because if they do the same, they go and buy dollar. It's the same, going back to dollar again. It's the same IMF, it's the same World Bank who have been using a dollar, weaponize the dollar against us, sanctioning us, even financing, giving finance to overthrow governments, bringing their own puppets to work for them. That is why even last year, 2023, when they have given chance part of the BRICS, they're supposed to be
so I think he's having some issues out there with, I don't know, King Maponga. You've been saying the same thing, and we've been saying it, like you said, Susan Tata, we've been singing about this thing. No matter how we are talking about this, yes, we're teaching the world about that, but we actually need our own Afro. When is you? When are you? When are we going to wake up and say, we have to stop always being part of it? We want to be the originals of it. My king. I know you say that makes you feel like you're sleeping, but I know you know this are not things.
No, I'm wide awake when I listen.
I know.
Yes. You are right on point. because I don't think this problem is being taken seriously by our political leaders, who most of them are thinking from their stomachs, because the real issue is not about how good you stand with the Western world economically, IMF and World Bank and GATT, GATT, and WTO, World Trade Organization, and G7, and all these organizations that seem to you know to have an interest of world development. But you and me know by now that what they call world development. I wish everyone in this broadcast can read the book, the Economic Hitman. You will find in that book a serious strategy how the West has been using food, economy, loans, and grants to manage the African narrative. We will be stupid if we think that the Western world has African interest at heart. Why do I say that? Because what they call an industrialized world, an economically viable world, a first world or a second world. By the way, I've not heard of a country that is a second world. You only have the first and the third. But that's a discussion of another day. All these countries that are in the first world countries, they are in the first world because they've managed to industrialize and manufacture in their worlds. But then you need to stop and ask, what are they manufacturing and where are they getting the cheap raw materials? You will be able to understand that Africa is supplying cheap raw materials, which they move. I worked in London, by the way, in Britain, in Luton, where we were making specialized nuts for boats and ships and stuff like that. I worked there for a good 3, 4, 5, 6 months. But all the steel that was being, they ordered the steel, then we must cut the steel and form these bolts and nuts. I even saw the tags on the steel from Zimbabwe, Cisco Steel. And I was actually moved back and said, so you can talk as Britain and say, we are employing 20,000 people in the machinizing and production space to make bolts, nuts, and all these technical objects. But the raw material that you're using is from a third world country. Now, what will happen when the third world countries begin to manufacture those very same items? It means that Britain must stop. Because what is the viability of shipping steel, chrome, and cobalt from Africa into China, into India, into Europe, and in America, and then
Um, I was just in the background trying to
they are only taking some
actually,
of us.
yes.
But the day Africa comes together as a unit with our resources, our minerals, and our technologies, and our educated communities, we will not need forever to depend ever again in terms of sending raw materials and getting final products. I see China buying leather from Africa.
There must be some technology, I don't know, the kind of challenges. I'm also in the background trying to fix things out with Ambassador Tony Jaja. He keeps coming, but kicked out, keeps coming, but kicking out. I hope I will not be kicked out. And even King Maponga Joshua. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. So we
Okay.
need to come to a conclusion that says, what will Africa do with her resources to industrialize herself and begin to manufacture final products? And once
Mm-hmm.
we understand, I did this program with you some 3 years ago. I
Yes.
asked you, Dr. Susan, and I said, tell me how much water we have in Africa and
Mm-hmm.
give me the amount. How much grass do we have in Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the amount. How many trees do we have in Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the amount. How many minerals do we have in Africa? And give me the amount. How many seas and natural resources in the sea do we have in Africa? Give me the amount. How much and how many human resourced, qualified, educated Africans do we have? Price them, salaries per month, give me the price. Now, add all that together, you'll find the value of the African continent. And that value, divided by 1.6 billion people, that is the value for every African child. And until we understand our individual value as Africans, we will still think that we are poor and we are a dark continent when our resources are sitting in our hands. A Nigerian proverb says, when a goat dies in a barn full of yam, what killed it is not hunger. I thank you.
True. So true. I mean, like, it's unfortunate. I'm trying to get Ambassador back. It keeps throwing him out. We just refresh. I think he'll be able to join us again. Yes. No matter how many times we keep saying this, we have to keep saying it. I think from that time that we spoke like that, my king, you have also gone around. You have seen, like last time we talked about the changes that are actually also, you know, being currently the issues like BRICS. We never even had to hear about that, or even the world could have thought that something would ever come like an alternative, like what we are seeing today. I mean, those times it was literally like it's a one system controlled by America and its allies, or Europe, or this. There was never something like even something coming like an alternative, or something coming like also something that would add up to the existing. Never. So I think in this regard, I don't know. We after the BRICS, my king, don't you think Africa would figure out and say, now, why do we jump from pot to pot to pot? Let us build our own. You think they're not listening? You think you will not see
The,
this in
the,
your time?
the establishment of the BRICS comes from the frustration of Russia and the frustration of China as the two major players on the BRICS environment, because they now can no longer do business freely with America for reasons of political and ideological differences which those countries have with America. And America went on to freeze the Russian uh, investments. They went on to freeze the business people and sanction people from Russia from doing business. The American government has been playing double standards with China in terms, but as we speak right now, apparently I saw it yesterday somewhere. I beg to be proved wrong that actually America is owing uh, China not less than $120 billion per year, which they need to be paying back. So basically, the American community, the taxpayers, are actually losing their money as America is trying to pay the debt which China has. But America is beginning to come up with policies to restrict Chinese products into the American market, and the Chinese are not taking that lightly. And the establishment of the BRICS also speaks to OPEC, which is the oil organizations and the producers of oil, which for the longest of time have benchmarked the trade of oil and the barrels of oil in US dollars. So when you move away, America did not need to have reserves for its currency because it was using its own currency as a backup to its own currency. I wonder if you understand what I mean by that. Because they did not need resources, because their money was the trading element on the market. So they could put value on their money without having money in their banks. Basically, in simple terms, that's what it means. It means that if you trust me as Maponga J, you can give me 100,000 rupees, dollars, and etc. And based on the trust that you have, you can lend me that money. Though I don't have that money, but my trust. So American dollar, in God we trust. The world had started to trust the American dollar, that when someone gives you an American dollar, even if the American dollar means nothing in terms of a piece of paper, but that dollar has built enough trust that you can walk anywhere in the world and you'll be able to be given the equivalent of a piece of paper. Now, what BRICS is doing is to say, no, we can come up with another solution to doing transactions. And again, while we are on that, the means of transaction, which are including PayPal, which are including to other internet-based transfers of money to country, most of those organizations have been sitting in London and in New York. So when you are doing an international transfer, even from Bujumbura, or from Cameroon, or from India, or from Kazakhstan, or from Donetsk, or from Toronto, all those transactions go into an American system, which then identifies where is the money coming from, who is sending the money, and where is the money going, and they do their transactions there and take their profits from there. They became the gatekeepers of all the international donor money, grant money, loan money, internet-based money, and credit card money. And they were making money without necessarily having an industry. Their industry was money. And BRICS then says, no, let's have a supermarket of currencies, meaningful currencies, where if I don't want to buy this kind of brand, I can buy this kind of a brand, or that kind of a brand, or that kind of a brand. American money and British money is very expensive because the same loan they give to an African country, they will put 20, 30% interest on those monies. When they are borrowing each other money, Sweden and Norway, Canada and Australia, their interest rates are sitting at 2.3 to 4.5%. But anyone else who is borrowing money outside of that league will be having interest ranging from 6%, in some certain cases, up to 25%. And that is expensive money. So if I borrow $100 from you, I must give you back $125. But your neighbor can give you $102. It did not make sense. So BRICS began to say, let's create an environment where we can begin to deal with each other and trade amongst each other. This system will work in the short term to upset the common international monetary system. But in the long term, Africa needed to start talking to herself and say, we don't need other people to give us value. We have value without them. So, and I think that summarizes it all. That if our leaders can be forward thinking, we need an African currency. And I promise you today and now, if we can put our resources together, we will be able to benchmark our currency and value on the international market and challenge the pound and challenge the dollar and challenge the euro dollar. How interesting that on the first day of the BRICS currency, that it is actually, is it $10 or $100 equivalent to 1,000 American dollars? Imagine what that does to the business and economic sector it upsets everything because it reduces the American dollar to a junk currency. I don't need an American dollar when I actually have a euro. And whoever is using the BRICS currency, their value will escalate through the roof. The Americans will not be able to come here with their $1,000 and think that they can buy the whole of Cameroon with $1,000. It won't work. It won't work. You won't even be able to afford a hotel or afford a cool drink. That makes America angry. That makes Britain angry. And the European community will not look at the BRICS currency with a good eye, though they are the reason why the BRICS currency has been created. They created this problem of marginalizing African countries and putting Russia on sanctions and China on economic sanctions and playing a ball all by themselves, the white boys. Now the Russians, the Chinese, the Indians, Africans, and the Brazilians are beginning to say, okay, you want to play ball? Play by yourself. We'll create our own match also and write our own rules. And having said that, that is the biggest problem right now, which the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, and IMF need to start talking about. They walk around the country and tell your country is a junk state. Your country is a junk state. You're a junk state. How can I be a junk state as Congo when I'm contributing 80% of the cobalt in the whole world? How can I be a junk state as South Africa when I'm contributing 13 to 15% of the uranium in the world? How can I be a junk state as Zimbabwe when I'm contributing 7 to 10% of diamonds and in the minerals in the world? How can I be a junk state? And then you say Arawet and Belgium are first-class states when they're buying my raw material. This is a game changer. And anyone who does not want to listen and think that we are daydreaming, they actually call these conspiracy theories because they are in a doldrum and a honeymoon of intellectual somnambulism. Pardon me for the English.
I'm laughing because you say, okay, let them play the ball alone while we create our own ball. I mean, like from what you're saying, King Maponga, is like, what would it take to annoy the African head of state to make a decision like what Russia did? Like, what literally would take to annoy them? Like the Western world, what would it take the African, like, what do I say? What at what point should they really get annoyed to be able now to say, okay, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of your systems. Now we have to do us. I mean, even with BRICS, at what point do we think these leaders, our leaders, would get annoyed? Like, literally, no point.
Our leaders will not get annoyed because their stomachs are full of bread and full of foreign bread. But I am so excited that our ancestors have woken up. And I'll say this as a prophecy. If you read my status this morning, that the spiritual world is arising in our favor.
Yes.
We have a glooming World War III that is on our doorsteps. And the land that is now being contested is not Ukraine, but Israel. Now, Israel will divide the world into two, the Zionists and the communists. They will kill each other in Israel. They will bomb each other in Israel. They will finish each other in Israel. And Lord, help me. Help me. If they begin to use nuclear weapons on each other, those things are capable of contaminating between 30 to 150 kilometers per bomb that is exploded. That means that no grass can grow, no water can be drunk, all pregnant women will produce disabled children, and they will have neurotic problems and psychological problems. Hiroshima was just a drop in the ocean. When they finish bombing Israel, they'll begin to bomb each other. In Europe, America will target Russia directly. Russia will target America directly. Britain will target Russia. Russia will target Britain. Britain will fight with France. France will fight with Germany. Germany will bomb Poland. Poland will... Hey, this is about to go down. And when white boys begin to kill each other for greed, I actually want to thank the ancestors in advance that our leaders are stupid and fast asleep. Because that means that Africa would remain the cleanest place on the face of the earth with clean water, clean food, and a healthy atmosphere. If World War III should go down, the most stupid will survive, and that is Africa. We will, in the next 20, 30 years, water will become more expensive than fuel, clean water. And we thank our ancestors that we don't have nuclear, we don't have bombs that will contaminate our grass, our food, and our water. It is working in our favor, with or without our stupid leaders. The world war that is looming works to the benefit of the continent. But if our leaders were slightly awake, they would know how to align themselves and begin to create the superpower that will be alive after World War III. We cannot survive only in the unity of Europe and in China when those countries are about to destroy themselves. So you can't tell me, for example, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Uganda, that South Africa does not want to do business with Zimbabwe. But when Russia comes in, they will unite on the BRICS. You can't tell me that South Africa and Zimbabwe cannot have a common currency. South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Angola, etc. We can't talk to each other until there's a white man standing in front of us. That's Putin. Then all of a sudden, I see my country, Zimbabwe, and I see the flag of South Africa on the same currency. And I say, what is it that you are doing on the same piece of paper in Russia, which you can't do to each other across the borders? This is the stupidity that I condemn with every fiber in my bone. That until Africa wakes up to discover who she is, she will constantly become a player, a dancer on the wall when others are playing the drum. I thank you.
Who? Prophecy? Dr. Tony, thank you for being back. We're truly sorry. I don't know what has been keeping you, but like King Maponga said, we are always on track. Our ancestors are in control. Whatever comes and goes, we trust the process. We trust the process, whatever was happening, and you were walking up here and your brother sat in for you. Look at how we just plan things. We never knew that he was going to back you up and stuff. Because I knew his program that he might just be this evening creating his as a king. Hey, your brother is coming up. Don't you think you can just spend some time with you because he's busy creating all sort of things? Like I just saw the new hat that he created now. And he was here because already of this kind of challenges. I'm very happy, my ambassador, you're back. You've been listening, you've been hearing from the way your brother has been putting this the situation. Nobody wants a third war, honestly. How can we avoid it?
No, let me correct you. They want it. They want it. Ask me why. Ask me why.
Why?
Because when your economy is founded on producing weapons, then you make money when weapons are being used. You make money when bombs are exploding. When what you are producing are pharmaceuticals, you make money when people are sick. So America is a champion of manufacturing weapons of war. So they want a war. so they can test their missiles, they can test their airplane, they can test their guns, they can test what. And when they are testing those things, they are selling and they are buying. And the economic, you look right now into the American economy, is doing very well because all the weapons that are exploding in Israel and in Ukraine, someone is paying for them. And I hope it's not the taxpayers' money.
Bro.
Think what King Joshua Mapunga is saying, this is what has been happening for all of us all these years. And that is why they put dollar, the weaponized dollar, to put us into that situation. And that's why even they sponsored war. They put money for war. So Americans always, or the Western world always, they make themselves, they are the creator, and they are the problem, and they are the solution at the same time. So they want to create things and then fix it by themselves, but they have never fixed something. If we go to the history of America, so the dominance of dollars is after the Second World War. That is where America now took over a dominion of the currency in the world and put dollar to be the only liquidity and the currency to be used, printing papers and taking your resources, taking your gold, taking your uranium, your diamonds, all whatever you have is just that green paper they print. Now they have a swear. They said, because of what BRICS is doing, they are not going to keep quiet. They have to create something. They try to wage the Third World War with Ukraine. That was the beginning of it. Now they brought it where? They brought it to Middle East. The issue of Middle East was established since 2003, that they have to destroy nations in Middle East. They will start from Libya, they will start from Syria, they will start Iraq, they will come to Sudan, they will come to Iran, and they will come, and they have been trying these things for the destruction. It is not something that is hidden. Is their generals, they have been talking, the generals from the army, from the Pentagon, that we have to destroy these things. This is how they survive. They don't survive without war. How many trillions they have spent in Afghanistan? 20 years. 20 years. We are not talking about billions of dollars. We are talking about 2 trillions they have wasted. But what they have gained from it, they have gained hundreds of trillions out of it, because they were taking resources from Afghanistan. The same resources that Russia used to take in 80s until the falling of the Soviet Union. So now Russia now has gained the power again and bringing people around. So we have to take this responsibility. The Third World War is coming, but where are we, Africa, in this place? Where are we? Are we prepared for it? Are we prepared for all these things that are going to happen? Now, what they are doing now in Middle East is something not acceptable, and nobody can judge them. Do you know even Prime Minister of Israel When Antonio Guterres, the head of the United Nations, was telling them, you have to cease fire. They accuse him to be the terrorist. Can you imagine? And you can ask yourself, who are these Israel? Who are they? Who are they? Don't tell me these are the chosen people of God. They are not chosen people. They are Zionists. Let us be frank here. These are the people, call them human. We are the mankind, the black people. These are the human, mix of others. They are not pure like us. Let us be frank here. People has to educate themselves. That's why God himself calling us mankind. We are the mankind. And those are human. Go and take your dictionary and know who the meaning of human. What does that human means?
Ubuntu.
Go and take it. The people who are unforgivable, they don't forgive. And we can forgive. Always they do bad for us, we say sorry. As Maponga said, the creator of this mankind on the planet, on this continent, wherever we are, is going to protect us. Let me tell you the truth, and we are going to witness this thing. The World War III is coming, and Africa will survive. Africa will survive. And Africa will be greater again. Don't tell me Trump is saying they want to make the white man great again. No, there's no. The time has finished.
Thank you.
They have finished their energy on the negative side. And our energy still, we reserve our energy for the positive thing that we are going to do, to show what a mankind can do in this world, not human. Do you know why they call it human right? It is not for you. The human right is for them. But we are the mankind who have the energy, who have the source of God in us. That is why we don't think bad things for others. We don't think to destroy people. We think always as people. We are not aborigines, we are organic. Organic mean original.
Yeah. Yeah.
The origin of the soil. So our leaders should start thinking about how to take over their sovereignty, how to program themselves. And I wish the coming summit, when they are going together as 55 countries, like the recent meeting of the defense ministers in Ethiopia, for the first time, for them to say, we should take our territorial, we should take our sovereignty, we should organize ourselves to protect our borders. And this third world war, America is going to lose many bases. Let me tell you the truth. They will withdraw because the economic is going to collapse. Their dollar is going to collapse. They are not going to be able to fund their bases worldwide. Because even they are running out of resources now for the war that has been waged. Africa has to wake up now. And I want to say this to our leaders. Join your hands. Push away the negative energy among you. And think positively for the continent and your people. And this is what we are looking for. We want the country and the continent of Africa to rise and to stand on her feet and to give the world the example. Is our time, is our moment, and we have to do it. Nobody will come from far to come and do it for us. 40 years ago, China was nothing. But China, they went quietly. They surprised everybody now. And that is why it's struggling now to take over the dominion, the economic dominion, the global economic dominion now. With which resources? Do they have it? No, these are our resources. These are the African resources that Chinese are using. Russia is in Africa. These are our resources. So can we take a decision today and say we have to manage our own resources? We have to put priorities to build our continent, the infrastructure there we have been looking for. How can you do intercontinental free trade when you don't have ports you are using from coast to coast, from port to port, whether you are in the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Ocean, sea, or you are in the Red Sea, or you are in the Indian Ocean. So all this, they are surrounding us, and we are not using them to trade among ourselves. No road, no railways. And those countries are all connected. You can drive now from US to Canada. But can we do that? Can we drive in the continent using proper roads to carry a good to reach on the time? We have to get away to take things from our minds, something that has been put on our head, sustainable development. Until when are you going to be sustained? Sustainable, when you say sustain, it means giving you painkiller. We have been living on under the painkiller for many years. This is the meaning of sustain. We have to be social, economic independence.
Thank you.
If you are not strong economically, you cannot have a strong army. You cannot defend yourself. You cannot defend your territory. You cannot have a proper medicine to yourself. Yes, this is the World World BRICS Bank. We can have our own African bank too. Putting all our resources, putting our all goals there. And then the eradication of the poverty can be eradicated because of the dominion of our resources and our economic to be strong. So we have to take it now. Nobody will do it for you. Don't waste the education that you have. Use it for the benefit of the continent. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you have said quite a mouthful, and that is an honest review of where we are coming from. It's an honest review of where we are, and I think you are projecting the direction which we need to start thinking towards. And many of our political parties, particularly the opposition parties that are funded by our very enemies, promising solutions to the problems that have been created by the West. We need to wake up to what is the real problem here. What is the real problem? I look at Sudan, for example. And then I say, what is the real problem? Northeast, South Sudan, and what? But who is fueling the war, and why do they want Sudan to remain as a war zone? We know of the oil stories. We know of the agricultural project that the River Nile gives into Sudan and how that can change the food basket of the continent. We understand the value of Sudan historically and archaeologically, and when Sudan stands up on its way, the Nubian people of Sudan and Syrians finally stand to declare who the rest of us in the south here. We start from Sudan. My grandparents are from Sudan. Came through Sudan, through Ethiopia, through the Mozambique, and we ended up building the Great Zimbabwe and stuff like that. That history will never be spoken. And we understand now that when you destroy people's history, you can manage their expectations and promise them a future that is non-available and not there. Because once you don't know who you are and where you are coming from, that vacuum will be filled in by false information. And truly speaking, even the issue of Israel and the issue of the Middle East and etc., being the chosen people, and come on, I mean, we have lived with so many lies in our generation, and I think it's time that we wake up to discover that even those who are claiming to be Israelites right now in Israel are not Israelis. Those are Polish from Poland. Those are Europeans from Russia. Those are Ashkenazis from Turkey who moved during the times of war to create. So even when you look at what Hitler did, if you read some classified documents, actually he was pro-black, because we are saying I cannot recognize these as Hebrews and as Jews, when actually they are not the real Jews. And right now the whole world wants to sympathize with the massacre of the Jews in Germany as if it was Europeans killing each other. The real Jews that they're talking about were nowhere to be found in Russia, nowhere to be found in Germany. They're right here in Africa. So, and how can you build such a wrong narrative to even convince the whole world that Israel is in the Middle East in the 21st century in a desert, when we know that actually the chosen nation and the people of color are the mankind themselves? And I think we may risk to be marginalized and be called names, but the truth is we have been misdirected, and our efforts and our passion, our education and our spirituality and our religion and our economy has always been to protect this capitalistic, Eurocentric banking system. But that system has nothing to do in terms of protecting the interests of the African people. I passed it in one of the interviews. I said, if democracy is the best way of running the world, then why did Africa have to fight for it? Why did they not donate it to us? Every country had to fight the white man to be free. You fight to be free. And when you are free, you must be democratic and accommodate them. But if this was the best way of governance, then why did we fight? Why did you not give it on a plate? Why did you not give the land where it belongs? Why not walk away and say, okay, this is human. This is mankindness for me to share with a brother. But no, theologically, Africans are not human beings. They don't have a soul. They are good for slaves. And the Bible gives them permission to become workers and slaves for the white man. And once the theology is wrong, the politics can never be right, and the economics can never be correct. I thank you.
You know, this is the issue that especially African, those who call themselves believers. I read many books. I have encountered myself with many religious leaders, whether Buddhists, Hindus. I understand them. And I read Bible from what is called from the book of beginning until the Revelation. I know what is there. The Israelis, the country called Israel now, which they put on our head in the Bible. These are the chosen people. No, these are the Zionists, the creation of Rothschild family by Americans. Has nothing connected with the Bible. Even the Achams of Jews, they are criticizing what is happening. They say God has not taught us to establish a nation. So if they are the chosen people, why do they want to rebuild the temple again so that they can use the rituals of the Old Testament again? Where is Jesus here? Where is Christ?
And they'll use religion. They'll use
That's
religion.
what we have been doing now. If you don't pray for Israel, God will not bless you. I was in the meeting before, economic meeting in Jerusalem. Let me tell you this, Brother Mapunga and the audience who are listening. There was an economic meeting, and I was one of them. I was invited to Israel, and I attended. And I met the people who put what is so-called a global finance in the world. 2013. Listen to me very well. The discussions on the forum, it was about the rise of the East that will take over the economic in the future. That was 2013. How many years back? About 11 years ago. That the East is going to dominate the economic. And this, which they have been discussed even in 1985 in Washington, D.C. About 30 years from now, where are we going to see ourselves as America? And now America has messed up, has been sanctioning people, sanctioning individuals, sanctioning countries, imposing, changing governments. Now people are fed up of them. That is why you see people are rushing to BRICS. Why? Because this is another window for them to avoid the dominions of the power of dollar on them. The green paper, which is killing many people around the world. China is going to take over because they have planned for it. Where are we, Africa, here? In the coming years, there will be no what is called United Nations anymore, Mapunga. Let me tell you this. Because there will be another sitting of setting a new council where people will be represented. Where are we going to be? We don't have another time to be wasted for somebody to dominate on us. We have to have an upper shares because we have the resources. If we want to bring now Elon Musk not to go to the space, we can stop him from Congo, not to take on the resources from him. And others, and use it for ourselves. Burkina Faso now, they have just sent their satellite, the new satellite, Burkina Faso. But when France was still dominating, they could not do it, but they have done it. We have to come with the collective mind of knowledge and put them. This is where Africa will be liberated totally. When we have our education system, we own it. All the smart students we have, we should not take them to Europe or to the Western world, because anyone is very smart, he has to be taken to US. Let us put them here and build the continent. The best doctors are out. The best engineers are out. What made India to be the CEO of all the technology companies in America? What made them to be like that? Go to US now. It's not run by the American themselves, the white man. It's run by the Indian people. Go and check. Check Google. Who is the CEO of Google? And others. They are listed. And these are the CEOs of these big companies. The IT companies are all run by the Indians. What are we running here? What are we?
We're running churches. We're running churches. We're running
just
churches.
to dance, having warehouses and change it to be the churches. Praying 24/7. When you don't know your consciences to come back to know what power do you have and what dominion do you have. Somebody has to drive you around. Somebody has to direct you to what to do. God has given you ability and power and knowledge to use. Let me say the way the Nigerians said, we should not be a mumu here, not to be mumu here, be foolish. That foolishness has to stop. We have to drive our own gear for Africa to be independent totally. And this is where we will pay back what our four founding fathers were been crying for. They have not seen it happening. Independence, this is what we are looking for. The war that is happening with the Western is God who is fighting on our behalf for us to open our eyes and do our own. They are busy with the Arab, they are busy with the Iranian, but we have to be busy here building ourselves too. And this is our time for us to establish and to be strong. We can do it. We have been there before. The civilization people are talking about before. All those technologies we have been seeing. All this space, whatever they have been flying, we have been there as African. We own it. We have the blueprint for those things. It's just how to activate these things by coming back to your consciences and then carry on the ability and the wisdom and the knowledge you have in you. I don't give them to the Western world. I know them always. I fight with them. They know me. Whenever I sit with them, I talk. I talk my mind. I talk my mind. And Africa here, we have to stand for it. This is our moment. There is now a new spirit coming up. We have seen many examples happening. A dominion. A dominion. People who doesn't know what is going to happen in the years to come. They are going to introduce to you the other kinds to come in. They call them aliens from other places, from other planet, which is behind the ice wall here. Beyond the ice wall, Atlantis. They are there. They will introduce them. They will bring them in.
They're They are relative.
They are relative. Why do they say they want to depopulate the whole world, and they will start with Africa to take 6 billion away, take their life away? Whom are they going to replace with? These are the people they are going to bring. Those kinds. We should be realistic here. There's nothing there to be hide. Everything is being seen. And I'm encouraging young people, this is your time, this is your moment. You have to wake up wherever you are. Those in Caribbean, you have to wake up. Those in South America, you have to wake up. Those in the continent, they have to wake up. We have to change the narrative and the gear. This is the time here.
Dr. Susan, are you still there? Dr. Tata? You are raising quite a storm of conversation in terms of changing the narrative, which is calling for new political conversations, new economic conversations, new religious conversations, new academic conversations, new technological conversations. The system has to be overhauled in full. And I think our answers to the future are in our past. And once we are able to look where we are coming from, we may be able to see where we are and where we are going. I cannot add anything on what you have said. I fully agree with you that I've not seen in my life ruthless, lifeless, moralless, cruel people like white people are. As a nation, to plan, budget, prepare weapons, guns, bombs, poison, to go and kill other people and make that a full-time job, whether it is through immunization or through war or through vaccination or through food poisoning or through economic, just to have a whole group of people who wake up every morning and all they are thinking is how do we remove other people on the face of the country. I don't think that's yes, as Africans, we used to fight. You're fighting over land, your cows have crossed this side, or your child has killed another child across the river, and we would fight. But there was a cause, at least for moral, ethical behavior in a community. We were trying to sanitize ourselves. But to have a whole country, a whole government, creating an agenda on how do we exterminate the other nation, I think that's not human. That's not even mankind. That's not normal. That's not ethical. That's not. I mean, what happened? What happened? What happened to the human soul? What happened to Ubuntu? Where, okay, you have killed 3 people. Are you not happy now? You know, why kill 1,000? Why kill 10,000? Why kill Gaddafi? Why kill and continuously be on the trajectory? Lumumba is not enough. Sankara is not enough. Mugabe is not enough. It's not enough. You know, Sobukwe is not enough. Biko is not enough. And you have a life cycle of continuous butchering and killing, even to an extent where you're able to take your own money, move to another government somewhere in Africa, give them money, give them weapons, and then tell them that they should start killing each other so that they can put you as a leader. And when you are a leader, then give us the resources. Who does that? Who does that? And unfortunately, some of our weak leaders don't see beyond the curtain of colonization, where you take your own gun and kill a brother. And if I should ask you 2 days later after you killed him, I said, so why did you kill him? In some certain cases, why did you burn his house? Can you explain? Why? You may just find that you were actually possessed by the same reptilian spirit, where you have been given wrong information. You go out and you execute an assignment, and when you do that, you remove yourself from being human, from being humankind, from being kind. And by the way, that word you are using, mankind.
Mankind.
If you break it into two, it means that you are man first, and then you are kind. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You are kind to us.
Soul, you have a spirit.
You are kind to other men.
Yeah.
You are gentle to other men. You are human to others. You are normal to others. You are loving. You are tolerating. You are giving. You are sharing. You are together with the other men. That is there. And I think that the Western
that name of mankind is only, you will find it in a black man. That is why they take your things and you just kept quiet. They enslave you, nothing you say. You work for them for 330 years and no, without payment, and you don't talk. You live under the mercy of these people. Where did they came from? If now they are talking on their universities, they are talking that the whole people, the whole race came from Africa. Why you don't respect the people who give you life?
And the string that is on our the string.
The black color was the one who gave the breast to everybody in this planet. You should give the respect. That is why we respect our elders. We listen to our elders. They give us advice. And the teaching they give us is to respect mankind. What does that mean? But you don't respect. You came from another planet, and whatever you are looking for is just only resources. If we don't give you, I will kill you. I will destroy you. This is what they have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years. Jambo Kenyatta said they came with Bible, they give us Bible, and we left with the Bible and they took the land. This is what they have been doing. This Columbus said he was the one who discovered America, and already those men, Mansa Musa, they travel all these places, thousands of years, before even Columbus goes to America to say, I discovered America. And they are still living under that discovering. Every time they are discovering, they are discovering. We are not here to discover. We are living in it. We are not here to discover. Discovering what? People now are wondering that technology is something new. Technology is not something new. It's something has been there before. The phones, we call them a smartphone, used to be used by thousands of years ago. There is nothing new here. Where are the black men, black women who have discovered, who have invented all things now has been used in this world? Where are they? And do you want to tell us we cannot do it? We have it here. We can have a free energy without even using this, what is called the fuel or oil or whatever. It's there. We have that knowledge. Free medicine to cure us is there. Have you seen long time ago people from village go to the doctor? They go to hospital? No. And that is why they make you sick and give you the medicine. And that medicine is not to cure you, is to maintain you and to keep you halfway. And that is why we are not Aborigines, we are organic, the original. Aborigines meaning the hate people. That is the meaning of it. Let us go to the dictionary, those who read. Go and look for the meaning of Aborigines and meaning of organic, and you will know the meaning. Because always when you talk about the organic, it is like a food, to eat the organic food. That is the original. This is what it's calling organic. So this is our time, King Maponga, to educate our people. And in our lifetime, we have to see this change. It's not coming to another generation. We will see in our lifetime.
We'll push. We'll push with all the energy. We'll push with all the energy we have. We cannot let go, and yet
see that.
Yeah.
And we have to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. We have to stop.
And I would also want you to pass a comment on this democracy and the constitutionalization of Africa under a false format of government, which is designed in the West and which then enforces the colonial system, education, medicine, banking, industry, and it's all based on a foreign document that you hear young people that are not enlightened talking about the value of a constitution. And when you look into the constitution, there's no blackface that appears in that constitution. The constitution has its own marriages, how people must marry. The constitution has its own businesses. The constitution has its own land. The constitution has who benefits from what, and the black man appears nowhere in those constitutions. And yet our countries and governments will walk every year when they are going to parliament to say they believe in a constitution. And I don't know when Africans moved away from the constitution of the heart to the constitution on paper. And the constitution of the heart is the one that says, Brother Jaja, how are you? You are my brother. Okay, when your cows are dead, I'll give you 1 or 2 to plow. I'll work with you. If you have no place to sleep, come and sleep in my house. And that's the constitution of the heart, where your problems are my problems. But this whole concept of governments, particularly these African governments that are seeming to be excited in this euphoria or hallucination that they will be able to deliver Africa with a Western instrument in their hands, which they call a constitution. And yet that constitution does not respect who they are, where they come from, and etc. And for me, this has never ceased to amaze me, that the more educated our brothers become, the more stupid they actually become.
Let me tell you, many constitutions in Africa are not African made, were the Western made. Even when you talk about the Constitution of South Africa, who wrote the Constitution? There are white people who wrote it, who came from America and come and wrote it. And then others, examples are there. So when you talk about the financial constitution, which is called financial system, because anything has a system, has to apply through the constitution. And that is why it's the rules of law. This is a constitution. When you talk about the system, that is mean you have to follow the rules. And the rules are the constitution. And they were not meant for us. They were meant for benefit of others. And that is why we have to rewrite our own constitution. We have to look into our education system that we have. Because who created education? The founders of education, who put the education system, is Rockefeller's family in America. What they teach us in Africa and in other countries is not the same they teach their children. There's other education which you don't have. So these are the things that we have to work for it. And that's why we are still struggling. We cannot manage our own financial system. We have to depend on them. We have to depend on the SWIFT to do transaction, to do transfer, to do the business exchange. And who is owning it? It's not Africa, owned by others. But we have to create our own system too. If we talk about trading among ourselves, what system are we going to use?
Thank you.
What system are we going to use to trade among ourselves? If Zimbabwe want to trade with Botswana, what system are they going to use to trade among themselves? Again, they will tell you, okay, let us use dollar. It's not our currency. It's a currency of another country. America has no.
He must go to New York first before. He must go to. He must go to New York first before it comes to your account.
They have to question you. The question 10,000. Where are you? Where did you get it? And what is used for? That is the system where they have been controlling us with. And they can even block your money.
Yeah.
After the death of Gaddafi, after they destroyed Libya, Sarkozy, the former president of France, came to Libya. And he was giving a speech in a press conference, telling the Libyan people that we need peace and we need freedom. What freedom are they looking for? What peace they were looking for?
After killing our leader.
They were living very well. So the opposite of the true peace is destruction. The opposite of freedom is chaos for them. So if there is chaos, that is the freedom for them, for the Western world. So you cannot come and make people like foolish, telling them we are here to bring freedom for you. We are here to bring people, and these people will be living a good life. Where is all the gold of Libya? Where did you take it?
The oil and the oil.
Destruction everywhere.
Yeah.
They did to Saddam Hussein. So we don't have to be playing around here. This is the time. Let's give the floor back to Susan Tata, if she's there.
Dr. Susan. Maybe the system kicked her out. It's me and you. We can round up. who can round up and give us some final remarks, and I think we can maybe look at what kind of African leaders do we need going forward. I think I will not say anything after that. We can log out. Going forward, what kind of leaders do we need to create the Africa that we want? And how do we help the young people to begin to think and participate and prepare for the new Africa that we are talking about? I thank you.
The Africa we want and the kind of leaders that we are looking for. These are the leaders who have selfless, not who think about themselves. The leaders who think about their people, who plan for the next generation. Because we are living in the continent where 60% or 65% are youth. And the youth need to be educated. The youth need to be engaged, not only when the election comes, we go and look for you to vote for the leaders to lead. But leaders who think about building youth, giving them a right education, giving a chance to participate in the decision making, not to tell them you are a future leader. They are not future leaders, they are leaders of today. These are the kind of leaders we are looking for, who don't put themselves on the shoulders of the others to gain fame or to gain popularity or to use the resources to enrich themselves, but to make the resources to be available for building of the country and the nation. Youth has to be part of nation building in a positive way, not in a negative way. The leaders that go and divide communities. If you become a leader of the nation, don't take one side from where you came from. You become a father of the nation. That means you have been disconnected from your roots and from your tribe, and you become a leader of the nation. Now your tribe is the nation, not where you came from, where we were born.
Yes, sir.
And this is where you can build a nation. The leader that who encourage the young man, the young woman, the elders to see themselves they are the citizen of the nation. These are the leaders we are looking for. If we do that, the leaders do that, we can be a good and a better continent in this world. So this is the kind of leaders we are looking for. And the young people should be always on the positive side, not in the negative side. Always you see yourself as a leader. Example I will give it to you. The young man, Ibrahim Traore, years back, he was but a very simple person. You can see his photos because where he came from, this is what now he's implementing it now. Giving yourself, thinking about the community, about the others, building them. Gaddafi used to do that. The resources are belong to the citizen.
Yes, sir.
Are not belong to the individual, are not belong to the ministers, are not belong to the president or to the one individual groups. No, are belong to the citizen. These are the leaders we are looking for, who think about the poor man who is not able to eat or to feed himself or to pay the medical bill. What can you do for them? Those who have waged the war and get to power through the war and promises that we've been giving. So the leaders who cannot be like a wolf or talking to the sheep during the election that if you vote for me, I will tend to be vegetarian. And at the end, you are not going to tend to be vegetarian. Because wolf cannot tend to be vegetarian. Wolf is wolf.
Never.
But during election, you lie a lot. You don't even implement. Those who are the members of parliament, after election, you go down to people. You carry even the dirty children so that to show that you love the children, you care of them. After being elected, you go to parliament, you don't even go back to see them.
You have bodyguards to protect you from the same children.
The same children. No. These are the kind of leaders we are looking for, who are down to earth. These are the kind of leaders we are looking for. And young man, African young people, the young daughters of Africa, you can do it. The nations need all of us. God bless you.
Thank you.
And God.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Pan-African Daily TV, we would like to send our sincere gratitude to Ambassador Dr. Tony Jaja, a good friend of mine. He's a laureate and an award winner for the Pan-African Awards. And we have been very privileged to tap into his wisdom and knowledge. He's originally from the country of Sudan. You can go on your internet and Google him up. He was involved with the 2, 3, 4 presidents down in the country of Sudan. He has been involved in the international conversations in terms of African peace and solidarity. He's been involved in negotiations around the peace treaties of Sudan and neighboring countries, Egypt, Uganda, and everything else. He is a survivor of war, and he is now resident somewhere in East Africa for security reasons. He will keep his address private, but he is one with us, an astounded and renowned Pan-Africanist of note with bars of experience that are on his shoulders. And I am very, very privileged to have met him in person, and I know him personally as a brother. Every time I'm in East Africa, we always make time to have some cup of coffee and we talk around African issues. His heart is in the right place, and we want to thank him very sincerely for sparing his time in his busy schedule to come around and share his experience and knowledge around the African issues. We would want to apologize to the viewers for the termination of our co-host, Susan Tata, on the station for some technical reasons. But I think we still managed to have a very meaningful conversation together with Ambassador Dr. Tony Jaja. With those few words, I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful morning, wonderful evening, wherever you are. And may the ancestors of this land continuously look after you. And remember one thing for sure, only when you look backwards can you look forward. So for tonight, I part with the words, let's look backward and we'll see the future. I thank you.
Thank you.